What's up, everybody? It's Mike from Your Retro Toys, bringing you another awesome video. We're going to do some cleaning and restoration of some vintage action figure pieces, a couple of Star Wars pieces, and one from Bandai, which is a monster or some kind of a alien from an Ultraman line that Bandai put out. It's all vintage stuff, and it came from an auction that I went to in Africa. So stay tuned for that. Okay, this is a 1995 Bandai Ultraman vintage Killer B or B Killer. It's called Scorpion Killer B. Some references say, and some say B Killer. So it's either one of those. And I just thought I'd give it a quick cleaning so that it's a little more presentable because it's definitely going up for sale. I have an old toothbrush. I'm just using like Dawn or a mild soap and water just to clean off as much as possible the dirt and stuff that might be. And then we'll see what's after that, what's left. If it's scratched or it looks like it might have like some areas of paint wear. But I'm not trying to make that any worse in what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to clean it off, the dust and the dirt that might be accumulated. This is all that really can be done with this. I don't see any other issues with it as far as it being broken or anything like that. So just a small cleaning, and that's all this figure will need. But this one figure should pay for the entire lot with the Star Wars vehicles that I'm about to show you, and everything included. This was in that same lot along with those. And the value of this one figure, like I said, will pay for the whole lot. It might even be more than what I paid for the whole lot. So these auctions are a good opportunity for someone like that has time and patience like me to utilize that. Okay, so I'm just going to dry it as much as I can here. I don't want to take too much time with this one. There we go. Scorpio Killer B or B Killer, however you want to, whatever you want to call him, from the Ultraman line in Bandai put out in 1995. Okay, here is a vintage Star Wars land speeder. It says 1978 Kenner. Well, it says General Mills Group here. Oh yeah, it's Kenner by its division Kenner Products. All right, so this is an original land speeder from the Star Wars line from Kenner in 1978. You have this function where there's should be a decal in here if I'm not mistaken. There's decals missing on this thing. It's just basically there's no decals on it. It's just basically the shell of the vehicle itself, no decals. But it does have this, the windshield, a little bit of yellowing, a little bit of scratching on it, but it does have the windshield, which that's desirable. And then seems to operate when it comes to this function. Just the wheels pop up. I don't know how well you can see it. So since it does that with this little gear shifter thing to make the wheels come pop down and go back up, and it locks over, and you can hear the spring mechanism that's in there. A lot of times with these, this piece here will be broken off, so that's not. So it's in good condition in terms of that, all that. And this, I don't know if I even want to do anything as far as messing with it. I'm definitely, I thought about taking it apart to check out the inside the mechanism with the springs. It's like spring loaded, this handle. It's like spring loaded, so. But it seems to be working, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to do like I did with Bandai and just maybe wipe it down, not even scrub it. I'm just going to wipe it down a little bit and leave it at that, I think. That's all I'm going to do to it. Just to wipe it down in case I can get any marks that might have been on it and get them off. It's in good condition for what it is. This is a somewhat desirable piece for Star Wars vintage Star Wars collectors. Although I imagine most of your serious vintage Star Wars collectors already have one, and they probably have a better example than this with the decals and everything intact. So the other option is once this is listed, if it doesn't sell, and a lot of time goes, I can just leave it listed, but in the same time, maybe search for decals and see if I can get either, I know I could get reproduction decals, no problem, but I'd really rather have original decals if possible. And I saved the best for last, definitely. This is a X-Wing, vintage X-Wing fighter from the Star Wars line. Kenner again. I believe it's 1978 as well, yes. General Mills Group, Kenner Products Division, 1978. X-Wing. Okay, and the functions of the X-Wing, as far as other than the electronics, I can't check yet, but I'm going to. But when you press R2, it's supposed to open the foils there, the wings. Okay, so that works. And then that puts them back. So that works, and that's functional. Now these are always missing from these laser cannons that are on the wings. And this one has all four of them. So we're going to remove these for a moment, for a bit, for a specific reason. I have some warm water here. You can see how bent they are. And the way that you can help that, you don't want to be careful. Like, you could straighten it out, obviously, but if you straighten it out right now, these are old and they can be pretty brittle. So, but if you soak them in warm water, I just have warm, plain water, warm on the warm side. If you soak them in warm water, it can have a softening effect on the plastic and makes it easier to work with, a little more pliable, and you can repair, straighten them out as best you can for um, presentation or for display. So in the meantime, I have some of the decals are on here, but they're not like, see, they're coming off. You can see that the decals are coming off. So I just want to put a little bit of glue to help that situation a little bit while they're, since the original decals are still on here. I just want to encourage them to be on there. And I'm not going to put a whole lot, but I did put some. This one's coming off a lot further. This one, that one seems fine. And because there are decals, original decals on it, I don't want to, well, what I should say, what I assume to be original decals. I don't know that for facts because, like I said, I got this at an auction. It's very likely that these are the original decals, but I don't know it as a fact. Um, we're missing the windshield here from the cockpit. That's one issue. Everything else on it, as far as the pieces wise, look like it's there. Check these other decals. Like, oh, I was going to say seem fine. This one, however, is not. This one coming off altogether. Actually makes it easier. All right. Just keep these in that warm water a while. You have some yellowing here on the bottom. This is normal. There is a process where I could dismantle the whole piece, get that, improve that yellowing, or maybe make it go away completely. But I'm not going to do all that. I'm not doing that with with this particular piece. I'm just not going to do it. but I do want to try to see, like, there's this little, I don't know if it'll come off or not, but there's little blue markings. No, don't seem to be wanting to come off. Yeah, I don't want to do like a whole lot with this one as far as cleaning and stuff. I did want to secure those decals. And the only reason I'm taking it apart is to open, check on the electronics. I want to see the battery compartment and see if I can make the electronics on this work. Yeah. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't even need to take this apart. The R2D2 works. When you press down on R2D2, the wings do open. They call them foils. Find that with Star Wars. A lot of times you'll find that the batteries were left in it. If they were, then that's corrosion happens. These are from the, like I said, 1970s. It's obviously they're corroded, so they're not working. This button right here would be, and it would light this light, and I think it makes a noise. But that's not going to be working because it looks like the batteries are pretty corroded, and I can't get them out. But as you can probably see there, it looks pretty, they look like they're pretty corroded, and they're definitely stuck in there. Okay, the only other thing I can think to do is to take it apart. And that, at least, I think is worth a try. I can't remember if the other screws or what. It would seem like there should be more than two. There's that. Ooh. Okay. There we go. Jeez. Now I see the problem, but when it comes to taking this off, there's two screws here that I never removed, so that would help. That would explain why this wasn't coming off. Yeah. And see, like I knew, it came right off. Okay. Yeah, the batteries are corroded pretty badly, but the terminal, I don't know, it looks all right. There we go. Got them out. Now, to put it back together and try some new batteries, and we'll see where we are. Okay. Oh, this is going to be hard. Like a pain in the butt to have this happen. Oh, mm, see, keeps popping off. A lot of this video is going to have to be edited out. I'm not going to have all this in the video. See, that's the problem. I have to let go of R2D2 in order to put the piece down. It doesn't make sense. How can that be done? see if I put these new batteries in, will I get any result? Boy, the batteries fit in there tightly. I don't seem to be having any. These are brand new batteries too, so there's something not happening. All right, it's definitely not working for the electronics. So that's definitely not going to happen. Enough times tried that I know I'm not taking it all apart, and that's just going to have to be the next owner can figure out what they're wanting to do with it. If it's just display, you just display it. It's fine for that. Maybe they want to clean it, that's up to them. Or they can do a more thorough restoration, which I'm not going to do at this point. All right. So you got to put this back. I was trying to put this in completely wrong. I come to find out that this is the white version, the first version. And then they came out with a more yellow version, which is called the battle damaged version. And that's different from this white version. It's totally different. This goes on last. This will not work with this attached. The top part has to go on first. That's what I'm finding out. This can't go on until this is on. All right. That seems to be okay. Yeah, that's definitely okay. So, okay, now these two screws can go back. Oh, All these other screws are all the same, except for this long screw, which goes in the nose cone. You can't work with it. You definitely need the magnetic tip screwdriver for this. There we go. All right. This. So there we go. Back together. Everything's back to normal. Everything should be fine when it comes to this. Yep, it locks open and closes. So that works, that functions perfectly. And then these, I mean, there is some improvement. They are definitely straighter than they were. Some of them. All of them should be better than they were. Okay. Still have a little bit of bending, but you can bend them and adjust, try to adjust them. Like, see, that one's still pretty bent. And I don't think there's much that can be done about that. You don't want to break them. These are, like I said, always missing. And because of that, they have a higher value probably than most of the other parts on this thing. Even the whole shell itself, these things are more valuable than that. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. and ask you to consider subscribing and hit the like button. And stay tuned for more retro goodness from your retro toys. We will see you in the next video.